We will now start the regular press conference by Minister Hayashi.
There is one point I'd like to make. On the 10th, there were attacks on various regions in Ukraine, like Kyiv and Lviv. According to the announcement of the Ukrainian government, there were many civilian fatalities and injuries. Japan takes very seriously the fact that many civilians are victims of attacks by Russia into various regions in Ukraine. Attack to civilians and civilian facilities is a violation of international law that cannot be justified, and Japan strongly condemns. Japan is working closely in cooperation with international community, including G7, and Japan strongly asks Russia to immediately stop the invasion and withdraw into Russia. We maintain solidarity with Ukraine and supports the Ukrainian government and their people. So far, there is no information that there were damages on the lives or physical damages on Japanese people staying locally, but if attack continues, there may be possibilities of involving civilian facilities. Those who are staying in Ukraine, please secure your safety and evacuate as soon as possible. That is all from me.
Please raise your hand if you have a question. When you are called, please proceed to the microphone. Iwasa-san from NHK. This is Iwasawa from NHK. I have a question about easing of border control. From today, individual foreigners are expected to be able to enter Japan with the ease of entry. What is the intention of the change in policy? I would like to ask for your view. And you will continue to ask vaccination proof to be submitted. How do you intend to lift those measures? Thank you for the question. With regards to border control measures, we are moving to a new phase in Japan by living with COVID. And we understand that other G7 countries have already removed border control measures. And therefore, from today, we have eased new entry of foreign nationals, revised tests upon entry, and lifted cap on total number of foreigners in order to facilitate the entry of foreign nationals into Japan. And with this, we expect that there will be an even further exchange of people between Japan and other countries. As was just mentioned, proof of vaccination and also certification of a negative result of pre-departure COVID-19 test within 72 hours prior to departure will continue. Either or will continue. But this is something that we need to consider by striking a good balance between prevention of spread of the infection and also socio and economic activities, as well as needs and the spread of infection.
Next question, please. Kinashi-san from Kyodo Tsushin. Kinashi from Kyodo Tsushin. A question about North Korea. On the 10th, North Korean media mentioned that the ballistic missile launches since the 25th of September is a launch training of a strategic nuclear weapon operation team, and mentions that the one that passed Japanese skies on the 4th is a new surface-to-surface mid-range ballistic missile. What is your view about that? I will refrain from making comments on each report made by North Korea, but in any event, including the repeated launches of ballistic missiles so far, the behavior of North Korea is a threat to the peace and safety of Japan, the region, and international community, which is absolutely unpermissible. As a government, we will closely cooperate between Japan-US and Japan-US ROK and cooperate with the international community and aim at promoting complete, full implementation of United Nations Security Council resolutions and denuclearization of North Korea.
Next question, Miyahara-san from Mainichi. This is Miyahara from Mainichi. This is a question related to your earlier statement. The explosion on the Crimean Bridge, and what do you think this will have on our relationship with the country? The blast that occurred on the Crimea Bridge on the 8th. President Putin on the 10th condemned that this is an act of terrorism by Ukraine, and therefore, as a retaliation, conducted an attack on the Ukraine army as well as energy-related facilities. Japan views this very gravely, that many civilians have fell victim in many parts of Ukraine due to the attack by Russia, and attacks on civilians and civilian facilities is a violation of international law, and therefore we strongly condemned, as this cannot be justified. Japan will continue to collaborate with the international community, including G7, and to continue by sanctioning Russia and also continue support to Ukraine.
Next question, please, from Asahi Shimbun. Nobita from Asahi Shimbun. On the 16th, the Chinese Communist Party Congress will start. It is expected that President Xi Jinping will keep his position for the third term. What is your view about that? And if he continues in power, how will that impact Japan-China relationship? I will refrain from making comments on the impact into Japan-China relationship on the activities of political parties of other countries, but Japan is watching the movement of the party Congress. With China, we should stress what we have to stress and ask for responsible behavior and repeatedly continue with a dialogue and cooperate on common issues, and it is necessary to build a constructive and stable relationship based on efforts of both parties. This position remains unchanged.
Tanaka-san from Jiji, please. This is Tanaka. Again, another question on the situation in Ukraine. Earlier, you said that there is a concern that similar attacks could continue from Russia. The embassy has resumed operations, and the staff members at the Kyiv embassy, do you plan to maintain the activities? What is your view on that? Thank you for the question. As for the staff of embassy in Kyiv, we have confirmed that the safety of all of the staff members, and any Japanese falling victim or having suffered any injuries, we have not heard of that at this point in time. And the embassy in Kyiv, we would need to watch very carefully how things will develop going forward, but we will be collaborating with other G7 nations, and by taking safety measures as much as possible, embassy operations are currently undergoing, and we plan to make no changes.
Next question, please. No further questions? So this concludes our press conference. Thank you very much.